been hearing about this Revere connection, and you've been able to learn some more about that through your sources.
Heather and Liz, you know, we've been talking to multiple federal, state, and local sources, law enforcement sources over the past few hours. We've learned a lot of developments as far as the 20-year-old Saudi national who was being questioned at Brigham and Women's. Right now, it appears that he was a victim and that he's not connected to the bombings. There was some question because we were being told that he had burns on his hands, so that raised some suspicions. But law enforcement sources are telling us that he appears to be a victim. We're also being told that the search at the Revere apartment building on Ocean Drive didn't turn up any evidence connected to the bombings. And we're going to see a lot of this over the next few days because as the information comes in, they have to check out everything. You know, we've heard you can't leave any stone unturned. So this is expected. This is what we're going to see over the next couple of days. And sources are also telling us that at least one of the bombs that went off by the finish line appears to be one of those pressure cooker bombs. And
describe that for us, because we keep hearing pressure cooker. This is like an actual cooking...
And this is like a crock pot.
Like kind of thing that has the sides that lock down?
Like a pressure cooker. And law enforcement sources are telling us that what happens is these are filled with shrapnel, things like nails and BBs. They can be detonated either by a remote device, it could be detonated by a cell phone, it could be detonated with a garage door opener, or it could be wired and a timer could be set, and that's another way that it could be detonated.
Well, and that explains why the cell phone service was abruptly stopped in the hours that followed. They wouldn't want to chance any other potential explosive device being triggered.
Right, and so that's what we have as far as just one of the devices. That's what I'm being told, that it may be one of these pressure cooker devices. They are commonly used in Afghanistan, IEDs. We've seen a lot of injuries, you know, overseas with these types of explosives, and so that's what we're being told at this point. But everything is still developing.
And the Associated Press is saying that these bombs that you talk about in pressure cookers were concealed in duffel bags and then blew up. We've heard garbage cans, we've heard duffel bags. Have you been able to get any clarification from law enforcement
I haven't heard anything as far as how they were concealed, but it makes sense that these devices were low to the ground just because of the injuries that we're seeing. And it makes sense because of the information we're hearing from medical personnel and the things that are being removed from the victims. You know, we're hearing about these BBs, we're hearing carpenter nails, and these are all common things that can be packed into these devices. So,
but again, even with all of the law enforcement authorities, you know, federally and locally, who are here working on this, it's still, they're not rushing to judgment on anything, clearly. They're taking their time with it.
And they can't. And we're talking about thousands of pieces of evidence that they are methodically putting together to prove this case. And we don't want to hurt this case in any way, so we have to be very careful, too, in what we report.
Well, and we saw that post 9/11 on the day after, people running from scene to scene and, you know, trying to make connections. And that's something that we are unwilling to do, is try to connect dots that are there. So you have to take a wait-and-see approach.
And we're also being told that Homeland Security investigations, they're actually assisting in the forensic investigation. They're helping to go through all of the surveillance tape and the videos and the pictures. We're also hearing that they actually stopped people in the airport to gather a lot of evidence from people who came to run the marathon or came to watch the marathon. And before they got on their planes, they were asking people, do you have any video? Do you have any pictures? And so we know that they're actually going through that and seeing if they can see any other clues.
An important point, because people do leave right after the marathon.
I want to get back to the 20-year-old young man that you were talking about. Is there a connection between him and Revere?
My sources are telling me that he was either staying there. I'm not sure if he was an actual tenant in that apartment, but there is the connection, and he was the person who led them to that apartment in Revere, and that's why they did the search there.